Hey everyone, my name is Jen and I teach at Yoga Chiquisa in Richardson, Texas. And I'm here to lead you through a 60-minute class today that is meant to be a calming vinyasa flow. So vinyasa is a type of yoga which means that your body just flows through the movement. Rather than focusing so much on the individual asana, we focus on moving our body with our breath, matching our breath to the movement. So try to focus that today as we move through, focusing on making it a beautiful flow rather than focusing so much on the individual posture, but just allowing your body to flow through the movement with your breath as the guide. In today's class, I want to focus on self-love. And what does self-love mean to you? I think so many of us spend time focusing on taking care of one another, taking care of the people in our house, taking care of people in our families that we're not able to be around right now. But today I want you to focus on loving yourself and listening to your body and to your heart and to your mind every day and checking in with yourself and making sure that you give yourself what you need. Is it a break from social media? Is it a break from Zoom meetings? Is it a break from snacking? Or is it a break from yoga? Like whatever it may be, check in with yourself and make sure that you're giving yourself what you need for the day. Okay? So that is my hope for you today, is that you go through today's practice and you leave with a sense of how to love yourself better. So we're actually going to begin lying on our backs. So make yourself comfortable. Allow your knees to fall to the side. Allow your hands to fall to the side. And draw your belly button into the spine. Draw your shoulders into the floor. Start to steady the breath. We're going to take a deep inhale together. And then sigh it out. Place one hand on your belly and the other hand over your heart. We're going to take a box breath, which is 4-second inhales, a 4-second hold, a 4-second exhale, and then another 4-second hold, and then we'll repeat the cycle. So I'll guide you through together. Inhale for 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, hold, exhale. Inhale, hold, exhale. Hold. Continue doing that on your own for 2 or 3 more rounds. Taking this beginning moment to listen to your body in which way you need to show love for yourself today. Okay, excellent job. Let's go ahead and let our knees fall to one side. And let's take that upper leg and reach behind with your top arm and grab the top leg and kind of just let it guide behind you. Starting to just gently open up that front quadricep muscle. So no pulling here, just maybe sliding it back a little bit to start to open up that front leg muscle. Maybe that front hip flexor. Maybe opening up that shoulder by reaching behind. Great job. Let's draw that top knee to meet the bottom knee. And let's roll to our backs here. And let's cross the right leg over the left, reaching between the thighs here and drawing the legs into the chest. Feeling a deep opening on the back of our hip and the back of our leg. Remembering to breathe, maybe pointing and flexing the feet here. Release the top leg and allow the legs to fall over to the other side now. Making any adjustments that you need to. And then reaching with the top arm for the top foot and just drawing it back. Any amount to where you feel a nice stretch along the front hip, the front of the thigh. And maybe opening up that shoulder and the low back. Great job. Allow the top knee to meet the bottom knee. Turning to your back once more. Crossing the left leg over the right. Again, reaching through and pulling the legs towards the chest. Opening up the left back of the thigh, the left leg. And release both feet to the mat. And let's just start to windshield wiper the legs from one side to the other. Opening up the back. Starting to engage your abdominals here by using your abdominal muscles to help move your legs in one solid piece. So maybe placing a hand on the belly, drawing the belly button into the spine, and feeling those obliques engage here. Trying to isolate that movement and not allowing the top of your body to move at all. Great job. Let's turn to one side and make your way to a seated position. Option here to take your blanket and place it under your seat. We're going to be here to open up our neck and our shoulders. So let's take our inhale up, arms overhead, dropping the left arm. Let's lean towards the right side. Thinking about pulling yourself over to the opposite wall, not collapsing in on the left, rather using your right abdominal muscles to pull yourself up and over to the opposite wall. Inhale, lift your hands up, meet them in the center, and let's take the same movement on the opposite side. Making any adjustments you need to throughout the pose to where it feels like it's giving your body the love where it needs. Great job. Set that hand down. Reach over the top of your head with your right hand, guiding the right ear to the shoulder. Maybe doing a little micro roll and pausing where you feel some tension. Making sure that you're not pulling with your hand, rather you're just allowing that extra weight to create more of a gravity pull towards the ear, to the shoulder. Go ahead and release this side. Set the right arm on the ground, and then taking your left arm over the top of your head, guiding that over to the side. Go ahead and release that. So I'm going to turn myself to the side so that you can see what I mean. We're going to take a butterfly pose or butterfly stretch. And you know, in elementary school PE, and I always like to teach it this way, they talk about the goal of your forehead touching your toes. And in yoga, we do things very differently. Instead of having the end goal of having something touching something, our goal in yoga, and the word yoga chikitsa actually means yoga therapy. Our goal is to line up our joints and to protect our body. Okay, and so when we take a butterfly pose, and this is true with any forward fold movement, try to think about hinging at the waist so that you can keep your back in one line, flat back, flat neck, ensuring that your spine is nice and stable. So if this is as far as you can go with a flat back, this is where you stop today. And if you have some blocks available to you in your home practice, this might be a good spot for you to even create some length here. So you can have the same support, but honoring your spine and your body and where it is. Remembering that everyone's body is different. And it might be helpful for some if you put some blocks underneath your thighs here, taking some pressure off the hips, or maybe even higher, wherever your body is, and then tilting forward. So if you have some blocks in your home practice, or if you have some books that you could use, or maybe even some pillows, rolled up blankets, whatever it may be, use those to just kind of prop yourself up, allowing your body to open naturally over time, really thinking about protecting the spine. So I want you to notice the difference in the way my spine looks when I try to go about it the elementary school way, as I like to call it. If I'm hunching my shoulders, oh my goodness, I immediately feel a difference here. And I'm rounding over. That doesn't feel very good on my neck or my back. I'm going to inhale and lift myself up out of that. If we are doing a back rounding posture, that's perfectly okay because that's our goal. But that's not our goal in that posture. Our posture needs to be aligned, protecting those joints. So let's play around with that again. So sitting up straight and tall, tilting forward at the pelvis, drawing the shoulders back, leading with the chin, and then when you've reached your spot where you want to stop, allowing the chin to draw into a neutral neck so it's in line with your spine and staying here. Again, using your props as support, you can take any variation that you need to. And then we come out the same way we came in. Hinging back up. Great job. Let's close our knees. And I'm going to turn back to the front so that I can show you this next posture. Taking my little blanket with me. I'm going to bend my right leg over my left. Option to keep this front leg forward. Or if you want a little more, you can pull the leg into your seat. I'm going to draw my left elbow on the inside of my right knee, extend this arm long, And I'm going to twist over my shoulder and see what I have behind me here. Thinking about spinal alignment the whole way. On my inhales, I'm working to straighten the length of my spine, really ground down through my seats. And exhale, twisting with integrity. Again, some might try to offer a bind here, but then if I try to take that bind, immediately my spine integrity starts to suffer. So I could take the bind, but I know that my spine is not ready for that today. So it's more important to protect the integrity of your spine and all your joints, rather than reaching the end goal. So go ahead and release and switch it out. This time bending the left leg over the right, making sure that your seat is nice and stable. Bringing the right arm on the inside of the left knee. Inhaling and getting tall, checking with your spine, and then exhaling, looking over the left shoulder. Excellent job. You can go ahead and release that. Let's take a moment just to walk our hands forward. Again, just hinging at the waist and then walking ourselves back up. I'm going to go ahead and take us into a tabletop position. So if you would like to put a blanket under your knees, go ahead and feel free to do so. In my home yoga studio, I've got carpet, so I don't really have a need for that. But feel free to take that blanket underneath the knees if you need to. So, again, talking about joint alignment. Naturally, my elbow points, these are your elbow points, they splay out to the side. If I really engage all my wrists and my fingers into the mat, spreading them out, I'm going to engage, and those elbow points are going to turn inward, facing my kneecaps. And immediately I have more strength and stability in my arms, my shoulders, my wrists, and my fingers. So our neutral tabletop is allowing the natural curve in your spine to exist without forcing it straight, forcing it to go further, just allowing the natural curve in your spine to exist. I'm really working towards keeping my knees directly underneath my hip bones. It can be really hard when you're not in a studio to see if your body is doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing in that moment. It can be hard to see if your joints are aligned because you may be used to having the teacher right there to make any adjustments for you. So what we need to do with that is release the pressure or the anxiety of not having the teacher there, but really taking this opportunity to turn into our body and to listen and see if it feels good. See if it feels like things are in line. So let's take some cat-cow breath here. Inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the head and the tailbone, and exhale, rounding through. Inhaling, exhaling, moving with your breath, remembering that vinyasa means flowing the movement through, matching the breath. So in your exhales, you should be rounding your spine and tucking your chin, and on our inhales, dropping the belly and lifting the head and the tailbone. So continue to do that on your own. Matching each breath with a movement. We're going to tuck the toes behind us and move our hands forward a little bit. And then push up into a down dog pose. Down dog is one of those poses that when you're a beginner, you get really frustrated with all the long-term yogis saying that down dog is a resting pose. But when you think about alignment in terms of down dog, you want to think about distributing your weight evenly between both feet and both hands. And it helps to think about taking your eye gaze towards your belly button. That helps push your chest towards your thighs and your ears away from your shoulders. Let's take a time to walk your dog by bending one knee and then the other. Being okay with those heels off the ground. Great job. Let's take our right foot forward in between our hands, dropping the knee down. And let's just rock forward and back here, opening up that pelvis. Let's walk the front forward out to the side of the mat by a couple inches. And then with integrity to the spine, lifting up into this crescent lunge here. You should feel a good opening on this front leg, and your ankle should be underneath your knee. The pelvis should be facing towards in front of the mat, taking our time to get into the proper joint alignment before we inhale. Lifting our arms up overhead, trying to bring the biceps behind our ears, and then maybe moving our gaze towards the ceiling. Great job. Bring your hands to heart center. Rotate your chest to the wall, and then tilt forward. Twisting here, or option just to stay here. Start to unwind, twist up, and then twist forward, extending that front leg long, flexing those toes towards the ceiling. And then lifting up just enough to bring that front leg back to meet the back leg. And let's again curl our toes, pushing up into a down dog. Seeing if maybe the right leg feels more open than it did before. Seeing if it's a little easier to bring balance between the hands and the feet. Now let's bring the left foot forward and place it in between the hands, setting down the back knee, checking in with our joint alignment, trying to keep that ankle underneath the knee, seeing if our pelvis is forward, maybe even placing the hands at your low back to make sure that that pelvis is oriented forward. And then when you're ready and it feels in alignment, inhale and lift the arms up overhead. Trying to bring the arms behind the ears, and then maybe lifting your gaze towards the ceiling. Great job. Let's go ahead and turn towards this side, starting here in the twist before trying to drop down into the full twist. So stopping here if you need to, or from here, turning down, and then lifting the gaze. was hard to show you guys from the back, but if you want to give yourself a little more leverage, you can place your top hand into a fist, and it really helps to open up the chest. Okay, great job. We're going to come out the same way we came in. So I'm going to lift up first in my twist and then turn forward before framing the foot with my hands and stretching out that front leg again. Trying to keep that straight spine here rather than rounding over. I have to remind myself all the time. Allowing the neck to go neutral. Checking in with your breath. And then bringing that front knee back to meet the back leg. And let's push up into another down dog. This time, we're only going to be here for a moment, and we're going to start to walk our feet towards our hands. And then just dangle here. Wherever your hands fall. Your intention here, and you may have a rounded spine, because we're just allowing the tummy to touch the thighs and opening all of this up. Placing your hands on your shins, let's lift up halfway. Now this one you do want to have a flat back. And then exhale, let it drop down again. Again, lift up halfway. And then let's sag it down. This time we're going to lift up halfway. And then use our hands and walk ourselves all the way up to standing. And roll our shoulders back and down. Let's take a moment here to take a firm mountain pose. Feeling everything align, all 5 feet, all five points of the feet rooting into the mat. Your arms reaching out to the side. Listening to your body to see if your joints are aligned. No mirror and no teacher there as a guide. Just your body. Great job, release. Let's step to the top of the mat if you're not that already. And then inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold down. Inhaling for your half lift. Stepping back into a plank position. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to your cobra. Let's pause here, opening up the abdominal muscles, the front of the body and the throat. Exhale, pushing back into a down dog. Inhale, walking the feet up. Exhaling here. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling all the way up. Great job. Let's turn towards the center of your mat and place your feet a little wider than hips width distance. So not super wide, but not super together. So let's take our arms out to the side, dropping the right hand to the thigh and lifting the left hand over. Kind of like the way we started, but just from a standing position. Exhale, bring the hand to neutral, drop that side, and then lift the right hand over. Inhale yourself back up. Interlacing the fingers over your head, maybe dropping them down here. Taking a moment just to lengthen the arms here. Stretching that open. Let's take one arm back. And now the other. Great job. Now we're going to practice hinging forward again. So placing your hands on your pelvis if you need to. Inhale and hinge forward. Trying to keep your body in one line. Pausing when you start to feel things round. Continuing to open up here, I'm going to reach for my right toe with my left peace fingers and twist open. Inhaling to twist open some more. Exhale it down. Maybe grabbing both toes with the peace fingers, bending your elbows at a 90-degree angle, or whichever angle that they land. Bending your knees if you need to pull that chest towards the thighs. Let's inhale and lift up halfway. Exhale, reaching the right peace fingers towards the left toes. And then inhale, twisting open. Great job. Releasing that back down. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. Exhale. Forward fold. And then inhaling all the way back up. Meeting your hands at heart center. Let's turn the right feet towards the top of the mat. Maybe taking the back foot back a little bit. Let's inhale the arms up overhead, placing your hands in prayer pose. And now this time we are going to try to round the spine. So rounding the spine down, trying to get the forehead on the knee. This time knowing that that is your intention. Maybe trying to balance here by leaving your fingers in prayer pose. A little tip here, if you're struggling with your balance, walk your right foot out a little bit towards the right side of the mat. Seeing if that helps your balance. Bending that front knee and coming out of it, and meet yourself into a warrior one. Adjusting here however you need to. Exhaling, framing the foot, bringing the right foot back to meet the left. Down dog, walking the feet up to the hands, lifting up halfway. Exhale, forward fold, inhale all the way up, and release. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step it back into your plank. And chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. This time stepping forward with the left foot. Turning the back foot to a 45-degree angle. And then walking yourself up. So we're going into this posture a little bit different than we did the first time, but it's still the same idea. Making any adjustments that you need to in your alignment. Inhaling your arms up overhead into a prayer pose. Try to keep those shoulders by the ears. Again, this time we're going to round down with the goal of meeting that forehead to the knee. Even if you need to bend your knee quite a bit to get that forehead-knee connection, that's okay. Framing the foot with both hands. Let's adjust our feet, bending that front knee and pushing up into a warrior one position on this side. Framing the foot, stepping back into a down dog. This time dropping to the knees. We're about halfway through our class today. Let's extend our arms forward into puppy. And then walk yourself back into a wide-legged child's pose. Hands can be any variation that you prefer, along with your knees. If you prefer traditional child's pose, feel free to take that. Pull yourself up to a tabletop position. And from here, we're going to pull ourselves into pigeon. So if you're familiar with pigeon, go ahead and get into your favorite variation and we'll meet you there. But if you're not, I'm going to bring my left knee to the inside of my left wrist and my left ankle to the inside of my right wrist. And then I'm going to start to use my toes and my foot to walk my right leg, my back leg, down to the ground. If I'm struggling with this, I can use a block or my blanket to kind of prop up that heel and center my weight over both parts of my pelvis. Or you can work your way down to the mat, resting down, and we're going to be here for a minute or so, so make sure that this is comfortable for you. And remembering that this class should be calming, not painful. Stay here for a few more breaths, checking in with your pelvis, seeing if your weight is distributed evenly across both sides. And then exhale, lifting your head first. And then maybe placing your fingertips on the mat. And then your hands flat before walking yourself back up. So we'll pause here in proud pigeon, pulling our chest forward. And then maybe drawing this back leg behind us. And just seeing where we go. Just seeing where we go today. Eye gaze towards the right hand or to the whichever hand is behind you. Okay, let's release the hands down. Push yourself back up into a neutral tabletop position and let's switch it out. This time the inside of the right knee is going to face the inside of the right wrist. The inside of the right ankle is facing the inside of the left wrist. And I'm walking myself down, playing around with my hip positioning before walking myself forward. Allowing the head to go last. Again, taking time to get comfortable in this position. About allowing gravity to do the work, not force. Gravity is a force of nature. It works quite well without us trying to add extra to it. Again, let's come out of this by lifting our head first. Maybe coming up on your fingertips. And then laying your hands flat. Pausing here in proud pigeon. Maybe tucking this back leg in. Just playing around with it. Seeing where your body goes. And then turning to look backwards. Maybe not today, and that's okay. Feeling free to stay in pigeon or proud pigeon. I'm going to come back into a neutral tabletop position to come out of that safely. Again, this time I'm going to come back on my feet and take rabbit. I am not a huge fan of rabbit, but I think it's incredibly important to do. So with rabbit, you want to think about touching the forehead to the knees and then using something to hold onto your feet, and then inhale, lifting your seat off of your feet, rounding that spine, trying to keep that forehead to knee connection. I don't know if that will ever happen for me, but that's okay. Release back down to the feet. Inhale, sitting yourself up. Taking a moment to allow the blood to return to your body. Let's make our way into a straddle pose. Extending both legs wide. Let's take our hands out to the side. And with my left hand, I'm going to place it in front of my right leg. With my right arm, I'm going to reach over and reach, and see if I can grab any part of the left leg with my right hand. Maybe I can grab the toes. Maybe it's just the shin, or maybe it's just the floor in front of it. But I'm really trying to spin open my chest. Very deep heart opener. Very good for the sciatic nerve if you have sciatic problems. I'm going to release that by setting my hand down. And I'm going to pause in between sides by hinging forward. Remember not to round here. The other poses we were rounding, our intention here is to hinge. Before making my way back up to the top to switch out sides. This time I'm placing my right hand in front of my left thigh and reaching up and over with my left hand to see where I can meet on my right toes. Really trying to spin the chest open, protecting the integrity of my joints all at the same time. Great job. Release that again. Forward towards the center. Walking myself up. This time, same leg position, different top of your body position. I'm going to turn my entire torso towards my left leg. So I'm going to place both hands on either side of my left leg and maintaining that integrity in my spine, that straight line. I'm going to inhale and get tall, and then exhale, rotate towards my left thigh, and while maintaining that spinal integrity, start to walk myself down as far as I can, allowing the head to follow. Maybe one day we will meet, but you see, as soon as I did that, my spine rounded. So very different position here. I can try to straighten out my back, but you really just have to consider, what is your goal in each asana? Is it protecting the spine, or is it reaching the forehead to the knee? Two different goals in the same posture. Walking myself towards center for transition. Walking myself up. Checking in with my pelvis before inhaling, rotating my body towards the right leg. Checking in with my spine. Trying to get myself as straight as possible before walking myself down, turning and trying to keep myself flat at the same time. Maybe eventually reaching that forehead down. Knowing that when I do, I lose integrity to my spine. Walking yourself back up. Let's take a little relief of those inner thighs by drawing the feet together and stacking our legs. So you have a couple options here. If you're like me, your legs fall very easily together, but that's not most people. Most people need a little support here. Either you can do a fist, you can do a block, you can do a rolled up blanket, but the pose is just allowing your legs to stack here, okay? And so whatever that looks like for you. So you're gonna just stay here. Straight spine, seat rooting into the floor. And if you want to, and you can keep your spine straight, start to hinge forward to the waist here, only if you're able to, without putting any pain in your knees or your hips. allowing the head to be an extension of your spine, stopping if your seat starts to lift off the floor. Let's inhale with integrity. Bring it back up. Let's switch out the legs. Whichever leg you had on top should be on the bottom, and whichever leg you had on the bottom should now be on the top. Again, taking any variation you need to protect your neck, your knees, your hips, whatever feels right. The main goal is that these two legs are in one line. It doesn't matter if one is higher than the other, just that they're lined up. And if it's available to you, tilting forward at the waist, head being an extension of your spine, stopping when your seat begins to lift off the mat, trying to ground the seat into the mat the whole time. Noticing if one side is more open than the other. Inhale yourself out the same way you came in, so lifting with your head being the guide to your spine. Maintaining integrity. It's almost like you're imagining yourself in this body cast, where you maybe if you have a neck injury and you can't move, you have to turn as one piece. So when I think about bringing integrity to my spine, I think about that mobilization, or immobilization, I guess you could call it. So think about that. I'm going to set this to the side here for intense leg stretching. I hate that it's called intense leg stretching because I feel like that gives this idea that it's supposed to be painful, and it's not. So with my 2-piece fingers, I'm going to reach for my big toes and glue my chest towards my thighs. So I'm in the pose here, okay? But if I want more, and there's 2 ways to do this. You can walk your feet forward one step at a time, or you can scoot your seat back, or you can take a variation of both. So that's what I'm going to do today. Again, main goal is keeping that chest glued towards the legs. Stopping where you can no longer keep the chest glued towards the legs. And pausing there. Allowing the head to fall. It's okay if your spine is rounded here, because our goal is the chest to thigh connection. Maybe as we stay here, seeing if you can straighten out your legs more. Maybe bringing your face towards your knees. Maybe straightening out a little bit more in the last few moments. Maybe grasping for the feet. Let's inhale, release. Coming out of this with integrity to the spine, lifting with the head first, and then walking yourself, pushing yourself back up, shaking out the legs. Alright, so let's take a brief moment just to release the neck here. So let's take the left arm across the chest, turning towards the left shoulder. Let's bring the left arm behind the head, releasing any tension in the underneath the arm area. Reaching behind the back. Looking up. Let's switch it out. This time bringing the right arm across the chest, looking towards the right. bringing the right arm overhead. And then finally bringing the right arm behind the back. Release down to your back, but leave your knees bent up. Start to make your way into the position there you want to find yourself in Shavasana, but we're not quite there yet. So just find yourself comfortable. Get any props that you like for Shavasana ready. Maybe your eye pillow, maybe the blanket underneath your head, because we're almost there. All right, so let's just take a couple bridge poses just to kind of bring some relief to our spine. We focused a lot on our spine today, either it being really integrally sound and strong and straight, or rounding it down. So let's just bring some relief to our spine here. Trying to bring our feet up and maybe inching the feet closer to the seat. Placing your palms on the mat. Inhale, lifting the seat up off the mat. Maybe reaching the hands underneath the shoulders. Interlacing the hands here. Inhaling and lifting the chest towards the chin. Thanking your spine for the work that it does every day. It's the center of your nervous system. Let's release it down. Your nervous system is responsible for so much in your body. It's important to get it love. Again, flipping the palms down to the mat. Inhaling, lifting the seat off the floor. Maybe making adjustments to where the hands are underneath the body. Inhaling and lifting the chest towards the chin. Trying to draw the knees in together and release it down. Bending up both feet, let's reach for our toes and happy baby. Maybe stretching one leg long, maybe stretching the other leg long. And then relax down into your final Shavasana. Letting the feet fall to the side, the legs fall to the side. The backs of the hands relaxed into the floor. Allowing the natural curve in your spine to return. Drawing the shoulders into the floor. And turning inside yourself. Maybe taking your eye cover and trying to tune everything else out. These 5 minutes are your 5 minutes. And I'm not going to lead you through a guided meditation today. Today I just want you to sit in silence and see what comes to your mind. Or what doesn't. Just enjoy your Shavasana in silence. Maybe by bringing your index fingers to meet your thumb. Maybe stretching the other fingers open. Maybe extending the legs long and pointing and flexing the feet. Maybe opening the hands and making a fist. Reaching the arms overhead on the mat. Making yourselves into a super long line. And then turning onto one side for a moment of transition. When you're ready, let's make our way back up to a seat. We're going to close out today's class with 2 Brahmari breaths. So a Brahmari breath is a usual inhale through the nose, and your exhale sounds like a humming sound. So let's inhale together. Inhale. Inhale for Om. Inhale. So as you move throughout the day or the night or whatever time of the day that you're taking this class, ask yourself how you can show love to yourself throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the lifetime. Let's inhale our arms up overhead. Join them at heart center. Thank you for taking class today. Thank you for giving yourself this hour of love towards your body. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.